right, it's another Wednesday night in Denver. Welcome to Sky Yoga. We'll do about a 45-minute session. As I said in an email to my teacher friends, a block would be really handy tonight, or a bolster, whichever. And you can certainly improvise with a folded cushion or blanket or towel. So we'll start with some intentional breathing, pranayama. It may help you to sit on something, a cushion, a pillow, so that your hips are even with or above your knees. And then lift up your torso, lift your spine, and relax your shoulders down. Let your arms rest. They can rest on your thighs or in your lap. And then tuck your chin just a bit so you're looking downward. And you can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. The goal here is to keep your neck straight and in line with your spine. And just begin to observe your breath. No need to change it yet. Just pay attention, what's going on. Notice where you feel movement with relation to your breath. What moves? Is it your stomach, your shoulders, your chest? So now we're going to take this observation of the breath and make it more purposeful, intentional. Wherever you're feeling the movement, focus on bringing it to your abdomen. We call it belly breathing. You're really not breathing into the belly, but what's happening is as you breathe in and your chest expands, your diaphragm lowers and presses the organs of the belly outward. So your abdomen expands because of all that room taken up in your lungs, pushing it out. So just watch your inhale and watch what expands. Feel as if your entire torso is expanding like a beach ball. And the opposite, of course, when you exhale, your belly will drop, your chest will flatten. So observe the movement in your torso as you breathe. Maybe your shoulders rise ever so slightly, but maybe your elbows go out ever so slightly as your rib cage expands. And now we'll transition into cleansing breaths. So for cleansing breaths, we fill the lungs as much as possible. Really feel the entire torso expanding, front and back. Your lungs are as much in your back as in your chest. And then when you're ready to exhale, open your mouth and exhale with force from your belly. Really squeeze those core muscles. Get all that old air out. Expand your torso fully. Exhale completely. Do a few more of these at your own pace. And maybe on your last one, you want to add sticking out your tongue. That's called lion's breath. Great. So we've cleansed our lungs. Now we're going to stretch the neck. So drop your chin down towards your chest. Let your head hang. Feel the stretch in the back of your neck and your upper back. maybe even shooting down to your mid-back. And then we'll take the chin shoulder to shoulder in a big half circle. Inhale to the side, exhale through the center. Inhale to the other side, exhale back through the center. And once things are feeling nice and loose in the half circle, you can try a full circle, bringing the head all the way around. However, if you have any pain doing that full circle, go back to the half circle. You do not want to mess with your neck. A gravelly sound is okay, pain not so much. And once you've done that in a few times in one direction, you can switch and spin the other way. Maybe one direction works for you tonight and one doesn't. That's just fine. Respect your body. And then sit back up nice and tall. Lift your shoulders. We'll do some shoulder rolls. So inhale the shoulders up and exhale down. Really articulating your shoulder blades. Feel them moving around in your back. It should feel a little bit like cats and cows, right? And then change direction. Still inhaling up and exhaling down. And now we'll do a shoulder stretch. I'll turn around to show you what it looks like. We're going to reach across your back with your left hand and grab your left wrist with your right hand. And your hands can just rest on your low back. Your arm can be bent like mine or straight, whatever gives you the better stretch. And we're going to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. So we're feeling the stretch across the top of the left shoulder. Relax your hand. Try to keep your shoulders and your torso upright and level. The only thing that's really moving is your neck. Your head is just hanging. And then we'll release. Inhale, roll your shoulders a bit. And then we'll go the other way. So bring your right hand across, grab your right wrist, sit up tall, and then drop your ear toward the left. The stretch is now across your right shoulder. Release, sit up, and see if you can grab your elbows. Gently pulling the shoulders backwards. And release, shake it out. I'm going to put the bolster to the side. We'll do a little more work on the upper body. Open your arms wide, spread your fingers. Inhale and reach for the sky. Lungs are full at the top. Exhale, bring your palms down. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, release. One more like that. And now clasp your hands together and turn your palms toward the ceiling. Stretch. Lengthen your torso, lengthen your back and your arms. And now we're going to bring your right hand down to your left knee and your left hand behind you. Look over your left shoulder. This is a gentle twist toward the back. Breathe. We might hold a pose, but we don't hold our breath. On your next inhale, bring both arms up high again. And then exhale the other direction. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Twisting as you look over your right shoulder. Come back to center. We'll open the arms wide again, thumbs up. Press the backs of your hands toward each other behind you. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Arching your back, a little bit of a back bend here. Breathe. Feel the back expand as you breathe. You breathe and your shoulder blades spread apart. And then with your next exhale, give yourself a big hug and pull your shoulder blades forward, stretching the space in between them. And shake it out. Good. Now we'll come to hands and knees and do some cats and cows and other stretches. Protect your joints. So I know there's at least one person who I don't think has been in my class before. Always protect your joints. If your wrists or your knees get sore, put something under them. It can be a folded blanket, a folded towel. You can even fold a wrinkle in your mat and create a couple of extra layers to protect your knees that way. You can see I have several mats stacked. That's another way to do it. So we'll do cats and cows. Take it slow. We're going to link them together. So from a tabletop position, lengthen through your arms. Push your palms down into the mat as you push your back away from the mat. Your navel lifts up towards your spine. Your head drops. Your tailbone drops. And you look like an angry cat from a Halloween poster. Exhale, push back, resting your rear end on your heels. Feel the stretch in your arms and your sides. And then bend your elbows and pull forward. And as you do that, lift your head, lift your hips, and press your belly button down towards the mat, the opposite arch. And pause here. You're a cow now with a sway back. So we'll keep flowing through that, arching the back up high, exhaling backwards. Feel the stretch in your low back. And then bend the elbows and inhale forwards, lifting the hips. So just keep flowing through that for several more breaths. Excellent. And when you have completed your next circle, come to tabletop. We'll do thread the needle for the shoulders. So lift your left arm high, reach for the ceiling, and exhale down. We're coming to rest on the left shoulder. Rest your head on the floor. Bring your hands palm to palm, pointing away from you, and then slide your right hand out. Walk your fingers along the floor. What we're attempting here is to get the right elbow lined up over the left wrist. Reach, and then with an exhale, wrap your right arm around behind you. Your hand falls wherever, it doesn't matter. And then roll your left forearm on the floor. So we're doing two very different stretches in each shoulder at the same time. You can roll the left forearm with an open or a closed fist, whatever feels best to you. And then unwind your right arm, press your palm against the mat, press up, inhaling the left arm high again. Exhaling it down. Very nice. We'll switch sides. Inhale the right arm high, reach, stretch. Exhale to the floor. Rest on the right shoulder. Your head rests on the floor. Your hands begin palm to palm, and then your left hand slides out, creeping along until you line up your left elbow with your right wrist. Feel the stretch in your right shoulder. And with your next exhale, wrap your left arm around behind you and roll your right forearm along the floor. Unwind the left arm, palm presses up. Inhale the right arm high, reach for the ceiling, and exhale down. Good. The next stretch is primarily for the hamstrings, getting the low body warmed up. So again, from a tabletop position, kick your left leg straight back. Pause here, press through your heel, feel the stretch in your left leg, and then swing it out to your side next to you. Your toes are roughly level with your other knee. And then we're gonna ease backward, rest on your heel and your forearms. If you cannot get your forearms to the ground, grab a cushion and rest your forearms on that. Relax your extended leg, the left leg, and reach for your ankle. You can let your head hang here or not. You can look towards your ankle, whatever is comfortable. Relax the left leg and reach. Really feeling this in the left hamstring and inner thigh. And now you have the option to lift your toes and grab those. If you're able to grab your toes, relax your ankle and pull them towards your face. If you can't grab your toes, that's perfectly fine. Just keep reaching for your ankle. But if you are able to pull your toes, you will probably feel more stretch in the calf now. Release your foot or your ankle, come back up to tabletop, and we'll switch to the other side. So now kicking your right leg straight back, pause, push through the heel, stretch, swing your foot out to your side, sole flat on the floor, and ease back to rest on your heel and your forearms or your cushion. Relax your right leg, reach for the ankle. Option to pull your toes. If you're doing that, relax your ankle. And let go. We'll come back up to tabletop for my very favorite thing in the warm-up. It's called Drunken Cow. It's really actually called Sufi rolls, but I often accidentally say sushi rolls, so I decided to rename it Drunken Cow. So from a tabletop position, we're just gonna swirl the whole body around. So your hands and knees stay in place. As your hips go way back, your shoulders go way forward. This should feel really nice. Just like the cow that ate the fermented apples. And when you've done that a few times in one direction, change direction. Listen to your body, what it's telling you that it needs today. Maybe you find some tender spots as you're doing this. It's a great diagnostic pose. So for example, I'm finding out that my right hip is a little stiffer than I thought. And you'll hear different messages from your body in the different directions that you move. And the next time that you're forward, stay there, way forward with your hips way down. This is called up dog, with your arms straight up and down. If this is too much for your low back, come down and rest on your elbows in Sphinx instead. Either way, we're stretching the abs. So let your abs relax. Gently look over your shoulders. Feel the stretch in your abdomen and your low back. And next we'll push up into child's pose. So knees wide, big toes touch, arms reaching out in front for child's pose. All right, let's come up into tabletop and do just a little bit of conditioning for the core and the back and the upper body. So in tabletop position, when we're doing exercise, not just stretches, you want to make sure to stack your joints, shoulder over elbow over wrist, and hip over knee. So everything's at 90 degrees. I might not look quite 90-ish to you because I'm at an angle. So we're going to lift the left leg, stretch it back behind you, and lift the right arm. This is the basic pointer pose. If you cannot do both limbs straight, do one well, right? I'd rather see you doing good form with one limb than kind of shaky form with both. So both limbs or one limb long and straight, and we're going to do Firebird. On the exhale, we slowly bring the elbow to the knee. Drop your head. Should feel like a cat pose. And then on the inhale, reach long, stretch everything out. And then exhale again. Reach long, that was 2. Exhale to center. Reach for 3. Exhale slow. Reach for 4. One more like that. Reaching long. And bring everything down. Good job. Wag your tail to loosen your low back if that would feel nice. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Right leg long and straight, left arm straight. If you cannot hold them both up straight, then just do one well. We'll exhale, bring elbow to knee. Inhale, reaching long. Exhale together. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Exhale. Inhale, 4. One more like that. Exhale. And reach long. And come on down. Nicely done. Wag that tail again. Now we'll come down to the back and do back stretches. I promise to be focused on the back today. I'm trying to figure out the lighting. I was not prepared for it to be so dark so early, so I will have the lighting better next week. Making our way down to our back. If you have a block or a bolster nearby, make sure it's in reach. All right, we're going to start by pulling the knees to the chest. Basic back stretch. And roll side to side, rolling your low back against the floor. Try having the lighting this way maybe. And then we're going to place your hands on your knees and guide them in circles. So your arms go straight, as your knees go away, your arms bend, pulling your knees in. And now we feel a slightly different rolling against the mat. Feel your sacrum, the top of your pelvis, rolling against the mat. Flexing off the mat, flattening down to the mat. And then change direction. If you're able to coordinate your breath, you want to exhale when the knees come in. Pretend the knees are pushing the air out of your chest. Nice. And then next back stretch is keeping your knees bent. We're going to lift the feet towards the ceiling. Knees bent towards your armpits and the soles of your feet parallel with the ceiling. This is happy baby, and roll side to side. Your challenge here is to roll your thigh down to the floor and back again. To the floor and back again. It takes a lot of strength and coordination from a lot of little muscles that maybe you didn't even know you had. And it's a great stretch for the inner thighs and groin muscles. The next time that you're in the center, bring the soles of your feet together. Move your hands to your ankles. Pull your soles and your feet up toward your face and press your knees away. Stretching the inner thigh. Flattening the tailbone against the mat. And then release your grip. Keep the soles of your feet together and let them drop to the mat. This is reclined Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. You can gently rock your pelvis here. You can flap your knees up and down like butterfly wings. Feel your hips opening up. All right, and then bring your feet back to the mat, soles on the mat. Grab your support if you have one. So feet are nice and close to your body. Knees and thighs are parallel. Arms at your sides. We're going to lift the hips up in the air for bridge pose. Squeeze your arms together underneath you and grab your hands, lifting your rib cage high. Maybe you feel a stretch in your quads. Maybe you feel some compression in your low back. Keep your knees pointing forward, not splayed out. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Release your hands, and as slowly as you can, roll down. Imagine being able to do this one vertebra at a time. Like a bicycle chain, just coming down link by link. Until your tailbone hits the floor, and then hug your knees a moment. Maybe rock or circle a moment. And then feet to the floor again. Now we're going to do this with support. So supported bridge pose. Again, thighs stay parallel, hands are at your sides. Lift your hips up in the air, and then place whatever support you have underneath your hips and rest. Your pelvis and your low back get to be weightless for a few moments. They do so much work all day, holding the body up, coordinating all the limbs together. Let them have this moment of peace anytime that you have any back stress. You can experiment with the height of your support. If you have a yoga block, that's the reason it's a rectangle and not a cube, is so that you can play with the different heights. You have 3 settings. It's a very high-tech device. 3 settings. I like the middle setting on mine. And once you find the nice height that allows your pelvis and low back to feel weightless, then you can play with opening out your knees. Maybe you bring the soles of your feet together again and let your knees splay out for supported Baddha Konasana. So these are some moves that you can do when you're having low back stress. I know I am because of the increased hours sitting in front of the computer. So let's bring our feet back to the mat. Lift your pelvis enough to slide your support out. And then again, roll your spine down as slowly as possible. Think about those links on a chain coming down one at a time. And then hug your knees. Very nice. Next, we'll do a stretch that's great for the hips and the back. It's a big twist. So we're going to extend the left leg. It's just relaxed. It's not doing anything. And hug the right knee in tightly. And what you may start to feel is a stretch in the front left hip flexor. Hold your knee tightly. Relax your left leg. Check in with your low back. Let it be relaxed against the floor. And now we're going to take your right shin in your right hand and open it outwards. So just letting the weight of your right leg and your right hand pull it toward the floor. You can relax your foot down to touch the floor if you're able. I'm feeling a big stretch in the inner thighs and the right groin. Relax everything else. The only thing working right now is your right hand. And most of the time when I tell you guys to relax something, it's because I found myself clenching it. So don't feel picked on, please. And then we're going to hug the right knee in again, pull it in tight, and switch hands. So now take your right knee in your left hand, tuck your right toes behind your left thigh, and roll your right knee toward the floor. You're going to feel a big stretch in the outer right hip. Drop your right hand toward the floor and look over your right shoulder. So this is a full spinal twist from the low back all the way up through the neck. Relax into it. Breathe. And then gently bring yourself back to center, hugging both knees in, rock and roll. Nice. Now we extend the right leg, hug the left knee tight. Maybe you feel a stretch in the front of the right hip. Now with your left hand, grab your left shin, open outwards, like a wing or a page in a book. Feeling the stretch in left inner thigh. You can relax your left foot down to touch the floor if you're able. Hug the left knee in again. And now pull your right knee across your body. So your left knee. Your right hand grabs your left knee. You tuck your left foot behind your right thigh. Pull that knee across your body toward the floor. And then look away from your knee over your left shoulder. Big twist. Maybe your spine cracked on one of these. I call this wet wash rag. I feel all wrung out after this. In a good way. Try to relax your hips. I just found myself clenching my butt cheeks. Not necessary. Relax. Breathe. Let's roll back to center and hug both knees again. In fact, you can curl yourself into a little ball, grab your heels, and lift your face up towards your knees. And then rock gently, and you'll really feel a nice massage along your mid-back. Very nice. Release and roll to your side. Push up to seated. We'll come to the classic seated Baddha Konasana. Bound angle, diamond, whatever you have heard it referred to. Pulling your feet in nice and close. Lift your torso. Lift your back and your chest. Pressing your knees downward. You don't have to tilt your chin. That might make it difficult on your throat. But make this a heart opener rather than hunching over with your shoulders rounded. Let your shoulders come down. And then push your heels away so that your legs truly form a diamond shape. We're going to bring your hands under your shins and let them rest on the tops of your feet. And then slowly let your upper body drop down towards your feet. Let your head hang. Maybe your forearms and elbows are on the mat. Maybe they're not. And we're going to take our attention to the spine, starting at the nape of your neck. Just take your attention down your spine, visualizing something very pliable and strong. I like to think of it Twizzler, but maybe you have something else in mind. So let your head hang. Soften your spine. And when your attention reaches the base of your spine, your tailbone, see if you can very gently pull your upper body just a little closer to your feet. I say very gently because your low back's in a pretty vulnerable position. You don't want to yank it. So just gently press your elbows closer to the mat. Press your face a little closer to your feet. Maybe you feel the stretch in the outsides of your thighs. And then we'll gently, slowly release, unwinding your arms and straightening up. That was a pretty intense forward fold. We're going to counter that with a back bend. So reach your legs out long in front of you. Place your hands behind you for support. And we'll lift the hips up high into reverse plank. You're aiming for a straight line from shoulders to ankles. Hips high. Breathe. You can drop your head or hold it up, whatever works for you. And then slowly lower down with control. And we'll do one last pose for the low back before we have a Shavasana. So bringing your feet up in front of you and your hands behind you, bring your feet close and lift your butt off the ground as you bring your arms around in front. We're just transitioning into a low squat. Use your upper arms to press your knees apart and just gently twist here. Opening up the hip joints and again, giving your pelvis and your low back that opportunity to be weightless. Your pelvis and thighs are resting on your lower legs and you're able to take some pressure off your low back. If the palm to palm pose is easy for you, try knuckle to knuckle. Ooh, that'll spread your knees a little further apart, give you a little more stretch. Relax any muscles that you might have clenched in your pelvic area. It's amazing what kind of tension we can hold unconsciously down there in the pelvic area. So let all those muscles go. Nobody can tell. And then release, and we are going to make our way down to our back for a nice Shavasana. So stretch your legs out in front of you, bring your back down, arms are at your sides. Now, if lying flat on your back is difficult for you, if you have a low back issue with that, bring your feet back up closer to your body like we did for bridge pose, but wider apart, and let your knees collapse inward against each other. And that will take pressure off your low back as well. If you enjoyed it, you can return to supported bridge pose, placing your support under your hips. Maybe you want to do Shavasana like that. At any rate, get comfortable and we'll relax from head to toe. Relax your scalp. Relax all the tiny muscles in your forehead and around your ears. Relax all the tiny muscles around your eyes. Let your eyes go soft. Let them be unfocused. You might let them roll slightly backwards or slightly inwards. Relax your jaw. Maybe wiggle it back and forth. Relax your tongue. And relax all the tiny muscles around your mouth. Let your whole face be soft. Relax your neck, allowing your head to sink into the mat. Relax the muscles of your throat. You have nothing to say right now. Relax your vocal cords. Relax your shoulder blades. Let your shoulders sink into the mat. And let that feeling of softness and relaxation travel down your arms, through your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers. Let your arms sink heavily into the mat. Let your rib cage relax into the mat. Let your navel sink down toward your spine. And let your pelvis relax into the mat. Let your whole torso be soft. And finally, feel this wave of relaxation flowing through your legs, through your thighs and hamstrings, knees and calves, ankles and arches, to the tips of your toes. Let your legs be soft. The only thing that you have to do for the next couple of minutes is lie here and breathe. Begin to breathe more deeply now. Feel as if you can direct your breath through your limbs all the way to your fingers and toes, letting them come back to life, wiggling with little movements. Expand those small movements to your wrists and ankles and neck. Gently restarting your circulation. And then take a moment to do something for your back. That might be pulling your knees to your chest. It might be a big, long, full body stretch. Whatever your spine is craving. And when you're ready, roll to one side, resting your head on your arm, pausing in the fetal position to think of something you're grateful for. And when you're ready, push up to seated. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste.